The Nigerian Labour Congress and other related unions have commenced their protests in Abuja over the high cost of living, inflation, insecurity and hardship in the country. Unions taking part in the protests include the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, the FCT Council, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, and the Nigerian Union of Teachers and Construction Workers Union, among others. You're welcome to Insight Today. I am Jumai Manson, and I'm being joined by Badamosi Adeshola. He is the MD, Functional Maintenance Limited. Don't go anywhere. Insight Today continues shortly. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Insight Today, and I am being joined via Zoom by Badamosi Adeshola. How are you doing, Mr. Adeshola? Are you here with me?
I'm with you. Good afternoon, Jumai. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. How are you? What's going on? How is the protest in Lagos? Is there anything going on there?
Well, in Lagos, the situation is calm. I think they have an organized protest at different points. You see that there was even a point where the Nigerian police was giving protesters water and biscuits. so far, I don't think the pressure is much in Lagos. But the most important thing is that I hope that they can pick the voice of the people. I hope that the aim of this protest can be achieved without violence. That is the most important thing. But so far, so good, peaceful.
But you know what, Mr. Adeshola, you know, this is a long-awaited protest. It has been since, and we've been waiting and counting down. And we know that 27, 28 is the D-Day. Now, do you think there are any anticipations, anxiety in regards to this particular protest?
What my view to this protest is that I think the NLC should carry the people along because they've lost trust by the people. There's been a lot of discrepancies in the modus operandi of the NLC because it is believed by most citizens in quotes that they just, let's take for instance, when they want to increase the cost of fuel, there is a belief that they have had a sit down with the government to say, okay, the fuel is going to sell at 200, but they will take it to 300 so that when the NLC comes, they will protest and leave it at 200 as to the normal 150 that it was before. So they need to come to the people. I don't think they are carrying the people along, the citizens, because we've lost faith in them. And the truth is that the NLC needs to be more direct in what the people want. I don't understand the government telling us to endure the hardship in the community when they themselves don't have a cut in their allowances or their salary. Now, every law that has been made concerning this subsidy has only affected the people. To my view, the subsidy is one of the few things that citizens benefit from the country. And then when it stops, the cabals, in quotes, are not punished. I think they should be brought to book. They should be announced. People should know what is happening, and then we can take it from there. But this protest, if they are protesting, to what end? What do they want to achieve? What do they want to achieve? And what are the demands of the people? So that needs to be stated out, because I don't, as far as I'm concerned, as an ordinary citizen in this country, I don't even know why the protest is going on. The only thing I know is that they are protesting for the hardship of the citizens. Would this protest change it? That I can't determine.
You know what, Mr. Adeshola, I was going to come to that. And I'll say for individuals who are wondering, what is the main reason behind this current protest in Nigeria? Of course, you've mentioned a few. You said the removal of subsidy, and then you mentioned the hardship in which so many, in fact, all Nigerians are facing at the moment. In your own view, what do you think is the main reason behind this current protest when we have unions who are not in unity when it comes to this particular protest?
Okay, like I said earlier, the economic hardship is crazy. The cost of foodstuff in the market, the cost of commodities, the cost of living generally has skyrocketed by over 300%. Let's take, for instance, in my project I'm doing, when I started the project a month ago, cement was selling for 8,000 naira. As of now, cement is selling for 13,000 naira. How do I go back to the client and say there are variations when you have been paid for to do the job? How do we do this? Number two, the subsidy removal. Yes, it was going to happen. But the approach, I have a problem with the approach that His Excellency used. There were no matrices in place to ensure soft landing for citizens as to the removal of subsidy. Now, you said everybody is experiencing the hardship in the country. I don't think so. If there are people that they drive in convoys of 4 or 5 cars, and since the removal of subsidy, it hasn't changed. So I won't say that everybody is feeling this, because come rain or shine, people that will buy full tank are still buying the full tank. Now, some private companies, some multinationals are increasing the salaries of their staff, but we have a minimum wage of 30,000. That is less than 20. That's about $20. Who works for $20 a month? How would he survive? How would he pay salaries? How would he pay school fees? How would he house rent? That might just be the cost. That might just be his cost of going to work every day and returning home. There is no way these things will not lead to crime or fraudulent activities by the civil servants that are earning the 30,000 naira. What I believe is that government needs to start from the base. They need to be increasing the minimum wage. There needs to be accountability by the government at all strata, that is the federal, state, and local government, for us to know that, okay, they have increased your federal allocation by 60% or so. What has changed? I don't see any change. In the life of the people, I don't see any change. The only change I see is that the officials at the ends of affairs are getting richer by the increment in the federal allocations. How is it monitored? We should be asking questions at the local government level. I think the protest should be taken to the local government, then to the state government, not just blocking the road. Because when you block the road, they'll be in their offices. They are not even feeling it. By 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, this protest will end and they are going back home. The road that leads to the local government in the area that I stay is bad. We are not asking questions. In developed countries, when there are potholes, you ask questions. There is even my sister told me a story. Someone was driving in Houston, a pothole spoiled the person's tire. They had the rescue team, government rescue team came over, fixed the car, and at no cost to the person but to the government. So I think, like I said earlier, the NLC needs to start from the basis of the whole thing. We need to know where we are coming from. We need to know where we are going to. We need to know what is happening to the finances of the state. That's what I think.
And then looking at that, Mr. Adeshola, as a Nigerian, we have a long way to go when it comes to potholes. It's something that by now, each and every one of us, we're used to it by now. Seriously, we can just see a pothole and just move around it or move past it. We see it as a norm, not knowing that it's our right for these roads to be amended and fixed. Now, looking at this protest that is ongoing, let's talk about the social media and technology. What role have they played in organizing and spreading awareness about the positive side of this protest? Some labor unions, 65 of them, backed out of the protest. So how can we weigh this situation at hand?
Social media and technology has played a long role because I can tell you for free that some 10 years ago, a lot of involvement by the youth have not come into play. But now, everybody is active. Even every Tom, Dick, and Harry is active, even though most of them are saying baseless things. They at least they are involved. And the truth is that let's take for instance the what protest happened. That was 2 years ago or three. Not Occupy. The protest, last protest that happened, that there was they claimed that there was a massacre, which I don't agree. Was a lot of things happened there because the aim of the protest was defiled. It was taken over by hoodlums and everybody. So the good thing is that the world could see what happened thanks to social media. Everybody, there were live streams of what happened, even though some parties were saying nothing happened. But we saw to an extent that there was chaos in some locations, both by agencies and also citizens. So I think that has played an important role in the activeness of people in this protest. Everybody is scared for their life because people that lost their life during the last protest, what happened? Nothing. A committee was set up, a committee of inquiry was set up, the report came out, has it been implemented? No. So social media, yes, is only informing us, bringing to our consciousness what is happening in the country. And at least for that reason alone, I think it is playing a very important and vital role in information dissemination to the people.
All right, Mr. Adeshola, we know that right now, as we speak, the protesters in Lagos have marched to Ikeja, they've gone to Alausa, and now in Abuja, we see in the FCT, we see they've gone to, they're going round when it has to do with the national and state level, the National Assembly. Now, with all of this, how do they hope? What demands do you think their demands will be addressed, or do you think it's just going back and forth just like before?
Okay, Jumai, I about addressing their demands, I can't determine that. But at least it won't be said that we didn't speak. I think the protest is more of getting our voice to be heard by the people at the ends of affairs. Whether it will be addressed or not, that I can't say. Has anything ever been addressed in Nigeria? even if it's would, it will take a while. Or they slowly, let's take for instance this Oronsai report now. It's been out for over more than 15 years, about 15 years. What has happened? Now Tinubu, our president, is just saying that, okay, they need to bring to play the Oronsai report. That takes us back to decision making and situation impact of responding to the people. Whether this is, our voice will be heard, yes, to be heard. Everybody is aware. I have a friend that came in from Abuja yesterday. He was supposed to return tomorrow. When he realized that the protest was going to hold, he had to leave with the last flight back to Abuja yesterday. So, whether we like it or not, our voice will be heard. But whether it will be addressed, I can't guarantee.
All right, now, Adeshola, I'm going to take you back. You know, some labor unions, I know we spoke about TUC, who have come out to say that the protest is not in line with some of their beliefs. But, you know, the NLC has come out to say, well, the protest is on hardship and the high cost of living that is affecting everyone and what everyone is going through. That's the hardship in general. Now, what can you say about the unity in these labor unions? Do you think they're not in sync, they're not united, or what's your own opinion when it comes to these labor parties not working together in the same synergy? One leg in, one leg out. Some people are for and some others are against. What can you say about that, Adeshola?
This is Nigeria, and politics infiltrates every sector and every department, every agency, every group, every union. Even in a party like the APC, PDP, even amongst themselves, we saw what happened with the G5 governors against the presidential candidate in PDP. You can see what is happening in Labour Party with the Apapa and the Obi people. So it is bound to happen because the truth is that when money talks, these things, they once some people's hands have been greased, they can go against what they believe in. So I see this whole thing as the TUC, with the NLC not being in sync with each other. I think it's just there is always a Judah in the system, and I think the Judah is doing a good job in that. So there will never be unity unless they are one. And the truth about it is that even in the family of three siblings, two might agree and one will disagree, and that disagreement alone can bring about rampage or confusion in decision making. So this that is happening between TUC and NLC, it's a Nigerian thing, and for that to be dealt with, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of years for us to slowly grow. They said he who must learn to fly must first learn to crawl, then walk, then run, then fly. I don't think you can crawl then fly. So let's just hope that in future, hopefully soon, there will be a lot of unity amongst all these bodies that comes to fight for the citizens. Because all we can do is hope. But that they are in sync today, we all know they are not. So let's just hope that, I don't know, let's just hope that they would get the desired result. That is the most important thing. Either they are in sync or not. Let us, the citizens, feel the impact of the NLC. That's just it.
Well said. Now, I want to ask you one last question before I wrap it up on the part one of the program Inside Today. Now, what are the underlying socio-economic and political factors that have contributed to the current wave of protests in Nigeria? We've seen so many protests that was ongoing that happened in Niger, which Mina, the protests of the citizens there, they came out in their mass, coming out to talk about the high cost of living in Niger. So how has this contributed? Is it when there is a protest that something gets done, or when there is violence that something gets done? What's your take on that whole scenario, Adeshola?
Okay, Jumai, what happened in Mina, I think it's not even an LDLC thing.
Yes, it's not, but it's a protest that happened.
Yes, it's just the people got tired and they came together and led a protest. Everybody's tired, even me, I'm tired. My fuel in my car, if I need to go to work every day, I would, to and from my work, I would spend at least 18,000 naira on fuel. So imagine 18,000 naira in 26 days or 24 days. That is like half of the minimum wage of the citizens in this country. So if I had my way, I would go and stand on the highway and be shouting too, but I have a lot to lose. I wouldn't do that. The truth about the whole thing is that let the government come back to the drawing board. Let us sit down. Let them work out matrices that will ease the transition of the people into. Yeah, I don't believe in sending what do they call it? Advance, what do you call it? Something cash. I don't know. I can't remember what they call it. To ease the people. But number one, we saw what happened with the lady, the humanitarian affairs minister. Every opportunity in this country is taken advantage of once you have a Nigerian at the helm of affairs. Everybody just take advantage of everybody. Even as low as a cleaner that cleans a toilet in a public place. When it's time for her to exercise power, she will take advantage of it. So I think the National Orientation Commission has a lot to do when it comes to exposing and orientating the citizens of this country. A lot needs to be learned and a lot needs to be done. The country is in a downturn. Money is being borrowed, subsidy is gone. They said that in few months to make money as a country, but they are still taking loans. I don't even know. I don't know what's happening in Nigeria right now. But the only thing I know is that Nigeria is a religious country, and at the end of the day, we always say this: God will help us.
I like
but my
that. I-
but my father always responds and tells me, God is not your slave. God works with you. He will not work for you. So what you can do is to do our best and then hope for the best.
All
That's
right,
it.
thank you so much, Mr. Badamosi
Thank you
Adeshola. And
too
of course,
much.
he is
Thank
the
you too much.
MD of Functional Maintenance Limited. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being a part of Insight today. Your
Thank
opinions,
you very
well,
much.
on point. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now it's still the program Insight Today, and the part two of the program, I will be speaking with architect Deji Adigboye, and of course, he is the principal partner, AD Plus Limited. Don't go anywhere. The program continues shortly. You're welcome back to the program Insight Today. And yes, this is part two of the program. And I'm being joined by architect Deji Adigboye, and he is the principal partner, AD Plus Limited. Mr. Deji, are you here? Hello,
Hello.
Mr.
Hi, good
Deji.
afternoon.
Hi, good
I'm here
afternoon. How are you doing today?
as best as I could in the current situation, I think.
All right, let's talk a bit about the long-awaited protest that that commenced today. What's your take on the protest? What's your take? The anticipations, anxiety in regards to protest. What's your take on it?
I think first thing we need to discuss is the fact that this is a protest and not a strike, and joining it is actually quite voluntary. But however, this process actually puts a finger on the pulse of what is going on currently in the country, and how it's being felt is shown by people's joining this protest. I would like to say something though. In my line of work, construction, design, and just pretty much project management, we also need to look at the timing of this protest. I believe that the labor coalitions, different ones that have come together to form obviously the NLC, to do this protest today and tomorrow, as the case might be, might have some noble intentions. However, we also need to sit back and say, why is this not an organic um movement? My meaning is this: everyone is feeling this. There is no quarter in the economy that you are not feeling the hardship that we're all going through. However, this protest has been planned. It's not organic. meaning that we should see some clear requests, some clear indications. But all I've seen so far is alleviate poverty. And um, as a labor coalition, I feel that there should be a guided and a clear set of demands that align with the provisions of the NLC, and let the people in the organic way speak to the government in the terms that NLC is speaking. What I mean is this: NLC needs to guide with exactly what the demand is. Because if we say we're talking about alleviate poverty, tax the rich, what I'm seeing around is tax the rich, incentivize or subsidize for the poor. That is really not, to me, a mandate of the NLC. The mandate of the NLC is to protect its labor group. Do you understand? And by doing that, they need to use their structure, the information they have to bring out proper requests. I see this as, yes, it is needed. We need to, our voice needs to be heard. The common man needs to be heard, because the truth is that the progress of a classroom is not determined by who raises up his hand. It's determined by the teacher himself, who is the person leading the class, finding out the stragglers in the class, meaning that listening to the people that have no voice and now speaking up at the back to know how far people are coming with the class. That said, in my line of work, there's something you call controlled demolition. A protest was impending, irrespective of who is doing it. It could have been the Market Women Association, it could have just been a small pocket of people, it could be the youth, it could be the widows. It was impending. And I feel that we need to look at it, that this protest might have been engineered. Now, I'm not speaking conspiracy here, to quickly show a sign that, okay, there's someone doing something on behalf of the masses before it is taken over by, by an organic movement that they can't control, vis-a-vis the last major protest we have had in Nigeria. So when the last speaker spoke, and he spoke beautifully, because there's really not much I can add to what he said. When he mentioned that we need to look at the people that are in the system that are masterminding things. We need to look at this protest. What exactly does this serve us? Because if you are just going about the rhetoric, we are suffering, help us, then we are not asking the right question. And we, the people, are suffering because we are not asking the right question.
So sorry, Deji, I want to interject. Sorry, Deji, let me interject a bit. So what questions are we supposed to ask? Because that is the main thing in front of us: the hardship, the high cost of living, the removal of fuel subsidy, and all of those things. So what are the questions are we supposed to ask, aside those ones that are relevant at the moment?
We need to ask the government to speak to us. Do you understand? To address us. Every point of the way, which is my analogy with the class. It's, if you want an inclusive government, you don't talk to the people that are raising up their hands. You talk to the people that feel intimidated to raise up their hands. Do you understand? Talk to the people. Use the tool of social media to your advantage, and not as a way to curb the people. Controlling it is not a way to curb the people. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is on WhatsApp. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is on Instagram, Twitter. They're there. There are people that take over these spaces. But the truth is that there are people that are silent and are listening. The government is not doing a good job in actually even selling themselves in the process. See, confidence goes a long way beyond investor confidence, international investor confidence, bringing money into the country. In my line of work, we have had clients that are stalling the progress of their project because they don't even have confidence in Nigeria as a way, and they are Nigerians willing to invest in Nigeria. I don't think the government right now, which some people would argue is trying to do a good job compared to other ones in putting real policies in place, even though they are could be fire brigade approach or long term, won't get the effects for long term. But this needs to be communicated to the common man, not to the person that understands the English that they are speaking. My cleaner in the office needs to understand that the fact that the cost is going up, it is our reality. It's not the punishment. The fact that is our reality. So you ask the right questions. What does it mean to me? Sir, what does the Naira value mean to me? We shouldn't be talking about dollars. What does the increase in cost mean to me as a person? What is my local government actually saying about this? How are they sensitizing me? What are they putting forward to orienting the common man into our new action? And what the government is doing about it, long term, short term. Do you understand? In doing this, the people would maybe be able to understand better. We will not have panic price hikes. Do you understand what I'm saying? There will be a reality in seeing the genuine intent of the government. But when the government is quiet and is speaking to just a small set of people and using words that the masses cannot hear, then we will continue seeing this going forward, no matter their noble intentions and genuine direction, genuine intention of putting this government or this economy in the right direction.
Okay, well said. Now let's talk about the response from the government and security forces. Do you think that influenced this protest in any way, whether negative or positive?
Yeah, I mean, you have to talk about the timing of things. We need to be very, very sensitive. Okay, the governments need to be very, very sensitive because the same breeze you used to blow out a candle will light a campfire and ignite it. You have to be very careful in how we address things. It is the fundamental right of Nigerians, no matter in what group they come out with, to speak and to have peaceful protest. I'm not going to speak to what has happened or what people have said have happened. I'm just going to speak to this. We need to understand that people need to speak up, and the government needs to understand it, that they need to listen rather than curb people or manage how they speak up. Create the avenue to listen. Now, security agencies posturing for civilians speaking their truth. I don't think it's great. This might sound like a conspiracy, but you need to understand that it doesn't. To me, it doesn't make sense that today, where this protest is going on, is the day that Tomiland Bridge is being shut down. I mean, people would ask questions. Some of us will ask and we just keep quiet and we just move on and just laugh and say, I see what you did there. But the truth is that how are you, if whose security are you protecting? Is it the security of the same people that, or you are trying to posture and say, okay, everything is still going to be okay? Because first of all, we don't want to have the breakdown of law and order.
True.
But also, when you posture, when you posture, and it seems like an intimidating posture, it already gives an air of a Nigerian parent that does not want to listen to the child. And we need to understand that pulling the people closer is easier and will yield better results and carrying them along than posturing and controlling them, especially when they have no way to vent. You have to allow people opportunity to vent in a controlled environment. However, as the previous speaker said, we also need to be careful about unscrupulous agents that are using this, that will be using this or be planning to use this also to undermine or support the government, and stifle the people. Because the people right now, the people that are concerned, including myself, yourself, your cameraman, and Mike and others. Yeah, we are the people. Look, there's nobody in Lagos or in Nigeria as a whole, or even in the diaspora, I will tell you this, that is not feeling it. And also, information is very important. The dissemination of information is very, very important. We need to, the government and the people need to speak the truth to the matter. Do you understand? When we stop sensationalizing information, we can streamline the information, and the people would be calmer. That is my own opinion. When we give the right information, there is no person, there's no institution or parastatal that should be ordering information. If it truly, that information is for the benefit of people, disseminate it in such pockets that people will understand. There will be peace. Do you understand? I will not lock up my shop for the fear of restocking. Do you understand what I'm saying? That will create a scarcity, and that you cannot use economic jargon to speak that away. You can't use it to speak it away. When someone locks up his shop because he's fearful of the cost of restocking, there is no thing anyone in the economic world would use to speak it away. It's a psychological thing. And it's a sociological thing. It's not just the economic on paper and saying graphs and things going up and down. You have to look at the general temperature of the people in the country and speak to them in the language that they do understand. And as the previous speaker actually said, he actually spoke beautifully, as I said. The orientation, National Orientation Commission, or whatever they are called, need to look at how they communicate with the common Nigeria. We cannot operate in ignorance. Because we are operating in ignorance, there are parties that are taking advantage of it. Because we are operating in ignorance, a lot of these BDCs and the street dollar traders are taking advantage of it. Because we are operating in ignorance and we are not being communicated with properly, and proper dossiers and as well as multimedia channels are not open for communication. We are buying cement at 11,000 naira in Lagos. No matter what they say on the news, the truth is the reality of the man on the road. That is what is buying it. Now, if you look at it, if you are able to break down and give to the people that this is how much you should buy it, then we can challenge it. But you can't tell me that it's like Coke doing, I don't want to join closure placement, but like a soft drinks company putting it on their cap. This drink is sold at 50 naira, for instance. The drinks company needs to take into consideration the logistics and all that to arrive at that cost. But if you are giving out cost, give us cost out of your factory, you are not serving anybody. Anybody can sell it any price. And if it's truly a free market, then we should be clear on what makes up every price of every commodity in Nigeria. We need to be clear on it because a farmer needs to be able to say, okay, this is what builds up my cost. Yes, my cost can go up, but it's not necessarily dollars. There are other factors. But when I go on the road and we are buying things and everybody says, dollars gone up, that means we are just using sentiment and fear to push prices without the real indices. So the indices need to be communicated properly. The build-ups need to be communicated properly with people. And also the government needs to communicate exactly what they are doing in all levels to alleviate what we are going on. So that when someone like NLC comes out, they can throw this information to them and NLC can revert with the right question so that there will be a proper and intelligent back and forth, building consumer confidence and citizen confidence around Nigeria. That's what I feel from my own corner of Lagos.
I completely understand. All right, let's look at this critically now. Do you think some labor unions are not working in synergy? I asked the same question to Mr. Adeshola. Of course, we know 65 labor unions actually pulled out from this protest that was supposed to hold today and, of course, tomorrow. Do you think they're not working in unity or in synergy at this point?
As previously, yes, thank you. As previously said, you need to also understand that there's always the political undertone with everything, either for or against the government. And these labor unions they are positioned to know more than we, the pedestrian, know. So their choice to withdraw can be speculated in any way. But the truth is that it shows that there are some, to me, it shows that there's some elements in this Labour NLC rally that does not speak to what that particular sect does. It's not about disunity or they don't want what the Nigerian people want. They might be self-serving, saying that, okay, I see the game you are trying to play, you have not put us in, we are withdrawing. You can also say, we are seeing that this is an attempt by the government to quickly quell any other protest coming up by instituting the NLC as a cover-up to do something on behalf of people. You can't speculate as much as possible. But you and I cannot know the real reason why they pulled out. We can only say, ask the questions. Press people to ask the questions.
You know, the TUC said it's not in line with their beliefs, and then it's not in line with their beliefs, and of course it's going way outside what it's in focus. And of course NLC has come out to say it's hardship, it's for the betterment, the high cost of living. That's why this protest has been, it commenced today. So that is it. That's why they pulled out, because they say that it's not in line with some of their beliefs of the union.
Yeah, I think I spoke to this earlier, because you need to really ask questions. It's about asking the questions. Why is it the NLC? Do you understand? Why must it be the NLC that is actually spearheading this protest? Do you understand? They've been used as tools before. Now, and there's a structure, there's a way that they should operate. And if TUC says it's not in line, then we should ask TUC, why is it not in line? How should it be done? Because the truth is that yes, everybody's feeling it. Do you understand? It's not just a section. Anyone can come out. Do you understand? Any group can come out. Like I said, there can be a widows association and they'll come out and they'll do rally. If it's within their mandate to do it, they will do it. Do you understand? But pulling out or aligning yourself to me is a political thing. If it's not based on the real structure of the constitution of these different bodies. I said it at the beginning of this. It could have different undertones. And I think we will be doing a disservice to this rally or to the general thinking of the general Nigerians to look at, oh, why are they fighting? Why are they not aligned? Let's ask them the questions. Let's put the questions to them. Okay, he has said this. Can you speak to this so that you can validate your reason for this protest? Now, TUC, can you validate your reason for pulling out? And if you were to do it, what way would it be done? Let them speak true to the matter and not sensationalize. Because we can only speculate. We don't know the ulterior motives, or we do not know, obviously, the lines that are being crossed by this protest happening. But the truth is that this protest needs to happen. The people need to be heard. Now, will the people be heard by the court jester being a champion or by the commoner being a champion? Do you understand what I'm saying? Who are the champions? Who is best served to speak for the common man? Do you understand? Which is why I said something about controlled demolition. If this NLSLC protest is a controlled demolition to just placate the people, there are people speaking on your behalf, then you've done a disservice to the common man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
controlled demolition is you do a controlled demolition or you do a controlled burning to stop like a wildfire or like a major event happening. Okay? So if that is it can be a political tool. And if the TUC sees as a political tool, they have the right to withdraw from it if it doesn't align with them or if they've not been brought in the fold. So we can speak to what their intentions is till tomorrow. It will just be subjective and conjecture. We need to ask them the question. We need to put out the questions. It's about asking the right questions and speaking through to the matter, to me. But the truth is that if someone is speaking out, this might be seen as a controlled demolition for some people, but also it might be an opportunity for other groups to take this on and keep rolling this going forward so that the government has to bring people to the table, the right people to the table, put their ears in the right corners and listen to the people so that we can really, really, really put a finger on the pulse. And we would not be sitting down in an office in Abuja saying, oh, we have done this, or don't worry. Do you understand? Don't worry, everything is being sorted out. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. How is it going to be okay? Put it in layman's terms. Carry the people along. If we can mobilize to carry people along for election in all sects, as much as possible, especially going to the grassroots, and you spin whatever stories you want to spill for them for elections, we should be able to go with the same energy and actually carry them along. Because a lot of these people depends on where you're in the country, don't even want to speak up because they were supporting the government at some point before election. So they don't want to be seen as, betraying what they voted for in case something falls in for them. Do you understand? It's a selfish outlook, but that's the truth. Do you understand? But if you don't call a town hall meeting, that town hall meeting will be held in the marketplace. It will be held in the barber shop. Do you understand? With people hijacking those meetings. That's my own. Just dissemination of information is very important.
All right, Architect Deji Adiboye, I want to ask you a question now, and quickly now, please, because of our time. Now, what are the potential risks and challenges associated with this protest escalating if their demands are not met?
Personally, I don't see a lot of risk because what is the demand? Are the demands realistic? What are the demands? I think we start from that. Do you understand? Rather than posturing, what are the demands? I feel it's a step in the right direction, but is it by the right people? I don't know. I feel more groups should come out, do you understand, and more organic um, ways that people actually voice their opinion, because it seems like the government is selective in listening to groups of people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I
And
do.
like I said, a more organic protest might serve purpose. And if they are trying to quell that, then they need to quickly make sure that they look at the stakeholders and call them to the fore and speak to them, and not bury anything in the bush. Publicize everything that you're speaking. Sorry, bury anything, and publicize everything that you're saying. The only way it's going to escalate is not because of the protest; it's the response to the protest. Response to the protest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Effective and quick communication and speaking the truth on the matter is the only way we can quell anything that is in the horizon. Because the truth is that the streets are boiling. Okay? There's desperation.
Yeah.
There is evident desperation going on. The crime rate we are looking at, you understand? If you look at the crime rate and the distribution of crime, look at the crimes that are actually going up. Do you understand? It's not even a crime of theft anymore, because there's nothing to steal. What are the crime rates going on? Do you understand? It's people and people's properties, people's freedoms being held to ransom. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is going straight to the source. Like, I would rather see this person perish rather than take a little from him and for self-survival. So we are all moving into survival mode. And
Oh,
the security agencies should think about this, because if you look at the demography, or sorry, the statistics of what you call the crime, we need to look at the truth. It's not petty crime anymore. It's not petty crime anymore, because that is not solving anything. That is
all
what they should be
right.
concentrating on, not stopping people from speaking. Thank you very much.
All right, Architect Deji Adegboye, thank you so much for being a part of Insight today. And of course, Architect Deji Adegboye is partner AD Plus Limited. Thank you so much for being a part of Insight today and sharing your views on the program. Appreciated. Thank you so much.
All right. You have a great day. Thanks for inviting me on.
Thank you. All right, it's still the program Inside Today, and I will be speaking with an in-house who was actually at the protest ground that took place. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to part 3 of the program Inside Today, and I'm being joined by my colleague Ediken Michael, who was at the protest ground here at the FCT. Michael, tell us briefly what happened at the protest ground.
Yeah, of course, the long-awaited protest by NLC actually took place nationwide, not just in FCT.
Of course.
Around the country. And of course, I was there at the scene of the Abuja when the protest started from the Unity Fountain down to the National Assembly, where they presented their demands to the delegation sent by the Senate President to receive them. But the concern has always been, because last year the protest also took the same shape. And of course, we must appreciate the security agencies for making a peaceful outing today, given the good ambience to NLC to lead their protest. And of course, it's lawful because we heard some news that the police may want to stop the exercise and all of that. But it was a very peaceful outing out there for NLC. For them, this is not just about their own welfareism. It's also about the issues and the hardships of Nigerians. The rate of hunger has never been this hard. And they've made reference to the fact that even in the military regime, we've not had this kind of hardship. How much more government of democracy, who is to, alleviate poverty, who is to help out the people, making decisions and policies that are so hard. And they, of course, they're asking the federal government that if need be for them to reverse back the issue of a subsidy, they should, because as at this time, it seems what all policies that government are trying to do, the policies that are trying to do to cushion the effect of it is not working. So nothing is really working. So in order for them to really go back to implement what the idea, the good intention of subsidy removal, it's high time they reverse back the decisions and then fix these things, put strategies on ground so that they can be able to, these policies can be able to work. So their demand is, even not just NLC alone, the members of the civil society, so many groups. You understand is a national issue. But one funny scene that also took place was the fact that we also had a counter protest.
I was going to come to that,
okay.
That counter protest. What's that all about?
You asked me who but of course we got to talk to them, and you understand that some of them are people that were hired because that is fact finding. People that do not even know that they came to, some of them said they were in the mocks, so they came to the mocks, picked them, gave them polo play cards, to also come to the National Assembly. But when we try to speak with the leaders are actually saying that Nigerians should be patient with the president. These are people of APC supporters. Though they are not coming from a name attached to the presidency, but from the placards you can see the pictures of the presidency on the placards. Give the president time, be patient with the president, things will get better and all of that.
Against what? The
NLC. And the question is, why come today that NLC are coming for the protest? Why don't you also take to your own street, to your own way of why you want
fix a date?
Fix a date different from what NLC did at the church. So that would have breached the peaceful transaction, because I wonder if the security agencies was not there, what would have actually happened, because they would have been trying a counter fight, not just the protest, but away from the fact that the security agencies were there, so the place was very peaceful and calm. So it's sad, because the question we will begin to ask is, well, are they not Nigerians? Are they not facing the realities of what Nigerians are really facing? These are the questions that we must begin to ask people. So NLC are not, from the outing today, it wasn't about them, it was about Nigerians. So Nigerians must begin to keep behind. Of course, government must see how they can respond, because government needs to be responsive, to the demands of the people. Because if you look at the 17 items that the NLC are demanding, it's actually people-centric enough. So government should begin to hear, the demands of NLC.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Michael Ekan, for being a part of the program Inside Today and being a rep of Global Television right there where the protest was being held. And with that, I have to wrap it up on the program Inside Today. Thank you all for being a part, and kudos the NLC for a peaceful protest today. There was no hitches, and let's see what day two holds on the protest by tomorrow. Thank you so much. I am Jumai Manson. Make it a date tomorrow. Bye-bye.